The day ends, your body is ready to rest, but your mind refuses to slow down. Thoughts keep arriving. Unfinished tasks, past conversations, future worries, stacking on top of each other. Even in silence, the brain continues working as if it's still solving problems. This constant activity isn't simply restlessness, it's how the mind tries to maintain control, process information, and prepare for uncertainty. Understanding why switching off feels so difficult reveals how the brain's protective systems keep running long after the day is over. Today, we will talk about why you struggle to switch off your mind. So before we start, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. 1. The brain was never designed to fully switch off. Many people believe that the mind should be able to completely shut down when we want it to, but the truth is that the brain was never designed to fully switch off. Even when you are resting, lying in bed, or doing nothing, the brain continues working in the background. It constantly processes memories, evaluates past experiences, and predicts future possibilities. This continuous activity helped humans survive throughout evolution because the brain needed to stay alert for potential threats or opportunities. However, in modern life, this same system can make it difficult to relax. When the environment becomes quiet, the brain often fills that silence with thoughts. Instead of focusing on the present moment, it begins analyzing conversations, replaying mistakes, or planning future scenarios. This is why many people notice that their minds become most active late at night when there are fewer distractions. The brain simply continues doing what it was built to do: think, evaluate, and anticipate. Understanding that constant thinking is a natural brain function helps explain why switching off your mind is not as easy as it sounds. 2. The default mode network. One of the main reasons your mind keeps running is a brain system called the default mode network, often known as the DMN. This network becomes active whenever you are not concentrating on an external task. When you stop working, studying, or focusing on something specific, the DEMN automatically turns on. Its role is to process personal experiences, reflect on the past, and imagine the future. While this system is essential for self-awareness and creativity, it can also lead to excessive thinking. When the default mode network becomes overactive, the mind may start replaying conversations, worrying about future problems, or analyzing personal decisions. Because the brain is not receiving new external input, it begins recycling old thoughts. This is why people often experience racing thoughts when trying to relax. The brain fills the quiet space with internal dialogue. When the DMN stays active for long periods, it can make it feel impossible to switch off your mind, even when you desperately want to rest. 3. Stress keeps the brain alert. Another major factor that prevents the mind from relaxing is stress. When the brain perceives uncertainty, pressure, or potential problems, it activates the body's stress response. This response releases hormones that increase alertness and prepare the body to deal with challenges. While this system is helpful in short bursts, chronic stress keeps the brain in a constant state of vigilance. When the brain remains alert, it continues scanning for threats or unfinished tasks. This scanning process creates ongoing mental activity. Even when you are physically safe and resting, your brain may continue searching for solutions to problems or imagining future risks. This is why people who experience high levels of stress often struggle the most with racing thoughts. Their brains are simply trying to stay prepared. Unfortunately, this constant alertness prevents the mind from entering a relaxed state where thoughts naturally slow down. 4. The role of the prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex plays a major role in the thinking process. This part of the brain is responsible for planning, decision-making, and analyzing situations. When you reflect on past events or evaluate possible outcomes, the prefrontal cortex becomes highly active. While this ability is essential for problem-solving, it can also lead to excessive mental activity. When the brain becomes focused on solving a problem or understanding a situation, the prefrontal cortex may continue working long after the problem has been considered. Instead of stopping, it keeps generating new possibilities and outcomes. This continuous analysis can make it difficult for the brain to relax. The more you try to force your mind to stop thinking, the more the prefrontal cortex may attempt to control the thoughts, which ironically keeps the brain active. This explains why trying to force yourself not to think often has the opposite effect. 5. Emotional processing at night. Many people notice that their thoughts become louder at night. This happens because nighttime often provides the first quiet moment of the day. Throughout the day, distractions such as work, social interactions, and digital media keep the brain focused on external tasks. When those distractions disappear, the brain finally has the opportunity to process unresolved emotions and experiences. Emotional processing is an important function because it helps the brain make sense of events and learn from them. However, when many emotions remain unresolved, the brain may begin processing them all at once. This can create a flood of thoughts and feelings just as you are trying to rest. The mind begins replaying conversations, questioning decisions, or imagining different outcomes. Because these thoughts are emotionally charged, they become harder to ignore. This is one reason why switching off the mind before sleep can be particularly challenging. 6. The fear of missing something important. Another psychological factor that keeps the mind active is the fear of missing something important. The brain evolved to detect patterns and anticipate potential threats or opportunities. When you face uncertainty, the brain may keep analyzing the situation in order to find the best possible solution. This process can continue for long periods, especially when the problem has no clear answer. The brain believes that if it keeps thinking, it might eventually find the perfect solution. Unfortunately, this search for certainty often becomes endless. Many real-life decisions involve incomplete information, meaning the brain cannot reach absolute certainty. Instead of accepting uncertainty, the mind keeps generating new possibilities. This creates the feeling that your thoughts are stuck in a loop. The brain simply refuses to let go of the question because it believes the answer might still exist somewhere. 7. The loop of rumination. Rumination is one of the most common reasons people struggle to switch off their minds. Rumination occurs when the brain repeatedly focuses on the same thoughts or problems without reaching a solution. Instead of moving forward, the mind becomes trapped in a mental loop. Each time the thought repeats, the brain strengthens the neural pathway associated with it. Over time, the brain becomes more likely to return to the same thought automatically. This is why certain worries or memories seem to appear again and again, especially during quiet moments. 8. Information overload in modern life. Modern life exposes the brain to an enormous amount of information every day. Social media, news, messages, and constant digital stimulation keep the brain processing new data almost continuously. While the brain is capable of handling large amounts of information, it also needs time to organize and process what it has already received. When the brain does not get enough quiet time during the day, it may attempt to process this information later. This processing often occurs during moments of rest or before sleep. As a result, your mind may suddenly become filled with thoughts, ideas, and memories that accumulated throughout the day. If you liked this video and would like to see more like it, please give it the thumbs up, leave a comment, and click the button to subscribe.